Hi, my name's Elaine. This is my take one of autobiography for my exposure to preaching and worship. I grew up in church, primarily white, evangelical, non-denominational churches where the sermon was the main part of the worship service. It was the most important part of the worship service. A little bit of singing, sometimes communion, and then the sermon was essentially how every worship service broke down. Then when I was in junior high, I moved to a really small rural town, and again, even though we were in a lot of different denominations, mostly Protestant denominations, the services largely followed the same pattern. So we had some singing, and then the sermon. And it was interesting that sometimes if the sermon wasn't good, or in the sense of it wasn't helpful for spiritual formation, there was a lot to process after the fact, because all of the worship service, the weight of it hinged on that sermon. So I've had to kind of process and rethink where the sermon is and how the sermon should be in worship services over the last couple of years. In terms of actually preaching, I haven't done a whole lot. When I was in undergrad, I was nominated chaplain for the Wind Symphony that I was a part of. So I would give a 5-minute devotional every other week, and then a longer 10-minute devotional on concert days. There was preparation that went into that, and there was always a scripture that was read, but it wasn't a deep dive into the study for those, just because they were so short and they were more devotional in nature. So that was just one of the exposures I've had to preaching, if we want to call it that. As for this class, I'm looking forward to learning more and being surprised. I feel like I'm starting on this journey of understanding what preaching is and the importance of it in the formation of people. So I am excited to be surprised. I think also in the last couple of months, in the last year, I've learned, as I'm pursuing chaplaincy, that preaching is actually probably something I need to have more exposure to. In the last couple of months at my work, I work at a physical therapy office. One of our patients was a chaplain. She was a military chaplain. She had been a hospital chaplain for a number of years before that, and it was interesting to me that she ended up preaching quite a bit. She had been asked to be a guest preacher at her church, her local congregation she was in. She had also been she had lots of different preaching assignments, was asked to do different things such as funerals or just sermons in general on base. And what she said was really striking to me was, even though the different sermons were different in the context that she was preaching in, she said the main thing is the word is preached. And so I think that stuck with me, is the importance of the word being preached, and I like to explore that more. I'm really indebted to this chaplain for her insight and helping me understand that preaching is a part of chaplaincy. So I'm looking forward to being part of this class, and I'll see you later.